Hey everybody, welcome to my new podcast, Music Makes Me Dance. I wanted to start this because I kind of just wanted to give out all the information that I have about going to concerts. People that know me know I've been to tons and tons of concerts, and I kind of just wanted to put all the information that I have out there. So the plan is to have each episode focus on something different. Today's episode is going to be Tool and the Hard Rock Live. To talk all things Tool, and we're going to talk about the Hard Rock Live venue. And then I'm going to, give you guys info, like where do you park, where can you eat, what's the vibe like, kind of just everything that you need to know. Then we'll have different episodes going forward, different artists, venues, music festivals, all kinds of stuff. So that way you guys can just come here and get all your info for concerts. A lot of it is Miami focused for now, but I will be talking about different places around the US and if tours go international. So let's get started. Tool's one of my favorite bands. They started in the 90s. They're from LA and they have 4 members. So we got Maynard James Keenan, we have Adam Jones, we have Justin Chancellor, and we have Danny Carey. And so Maynard is the lead singer, and then Adam Jones plays guitar. Justin Chancellor is the bass. Danny Carey plays drums. Little Tool history, they've got 5 albums now. I heard that they're working on the next one, so that's awesome. The first one came out in 1993 called Undertow. Then 3 years after that, they came out with Enema, so that would be 1996. Then in 2001 was Lauderdale. In 2006, one of my favorite, 10,000 Days. That's my shirt. And then the last one was 2019, Fear Inoculum. That was also a really good album. They're all fantastic. If you're gonna check them out, I always suggest starting with the first album. My favorite, I think, would be 10,000 Days. It's a hard pick. But if you're here, I'm thinking you're probably a Tool fan because you tuned into this episode. So let's talk about the tours. So this tour kicked off in January of 2024, but it started in Mississippi. So that was their first date for January. It was back January 27th. And that's where the tour started. And then they've done multiple cities in the US. Kicked it off with Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and then take it to when I saw them in Hollywood, Florida. They actually had 2 shows. They did a Thursday night and they did a Friday night. They didn't come to Miami, but Hollywood is actually not very far. It's about half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on traffic, of course, which we'll talk about what's the best time to leave when you're going to one of these events. They did the double shows at the Hard Rock Live. I absolutely love this venue. The venue is a little bit smaller, so it holds 7,000 people, so it's way more intimate. I have to say that this venue has the best acoustics. I think that's probably why they picked them. They did an awesome job with creating this venue for audio. Because sometimes when you go to those big arenas, the sound is just off. Sometimes if you're sitting in a certain seat, it really doesn't sound very good. So kudos to the Hard Rock because they killed it. It's awesome. Now, this venue is part of a hotel. They've got the casino, they have a spa, they have day clubs, nightclubs, there's tons of restaurants, and then you can also stay there the night if you're, you want to spend the weekend or something like that. So I kind of find that this venue is super, super cool in terms of making a whole event out of it. So let's talk a little bit more about Tool. So we know that they got 5 albums out. They are also Grammy winners for Best Metal Performance, Best Rock Performance. They won for one of their music videos. Some of their members also do other stuff, which is pretty cool. So Maynard James Keenan has a vineyard. He has his own wine, which is pretty awesome. There's one that's actually more affordable, so there's some options there, so you should definitely try it. And then Adam Jones actually does special effects makeup. So you guys have probably seen some movies that he's done special effects for, which leads into Tool having some of the best visuals for concerts. This most recent show was wild. They had awesome visuals. And then the Hard Rock Live also has lasers. Felt like a full-on EDM show with awesome lasers going everywhere. It was really one of the most magical shows I've seen. It was sick. That venue is just one of the best so far. I've seen a lot of comedy shows there, but that was my first music show at the newly renovated one, because they've been around for a little bit, but they had another venue, and then they had kind of a little in the middle venue when they were in process of making the newer one, and they closed the older one because the Hard Rock used to be outside, used to be restaurants and bars and stuff, and it was a whole outside area, and then you had the Hard Rock Live. But now they've changed it where they built that new hotel casino, and so everything's inside. It feels very, very Vegas. I love it. There's shops, there's all the restaurants. Now you park, and then once everything's basically inside, except for your pool and the day club, which is outside. Tool started touring in the 90s, right? So in the beginning, like when their first album came out in 1993, and then they've done multiple tours. The first time I saw Tool, in 2007, it was called the Sun Life Stadium. So it was in Sunrise, Florida, which is a little bit north of Miami, further than the Hard Rock. Now that's a big arena. That arena, I imagine probably sits like 20K, because usually the big arenas, once they sit more. That was a pretty awesome show. That was really good. It was for the 10,000 Days album. Then I saw them again, same arena, in 2012, 5 years after. And that would have been, I don't think, that wasn't for a specific album, because they hadn't come out with one. So that was just another tour that they had. I have to check Setlist. Well, we'll talk about Setlist too, how you can find those. Then 10 years go by, see them again at what used to be called the FTX Arena. It was American Airlines Arena. Now it's called the Kaseya Center. This is where the Miami Heat play. This is another big arena that holds 20K. It's a different vibe than the Hard Rock Live for sure, because it's just a huge venue. It's right by Bayside. Then 2 years go by and we get to see Tool again. So in recent years, they've done a couple more tours. 22, 23, 24. I didn't think I'd get to see Tool so many times in my life. So I'm super excited about that. And happy that they're coming out with a new album, because I'm thinking they'll probably do another tour. If you guys have questions right now, just put them in the comments. And then I will do my best to answer those questions. If you're like, where do you get your tickets from? How much are you spending? Parking? I don't know. Whatever things that you can think of that you want to ask. So we kind of covered a little history about Tool. There's some other bands that they're part of. So Maynard also, if you're a Tool fan, you know he's in Perfect Circle and Pussifer. Both are awesome bands. I'll talk about those maybe in another podcast and some of their cool music that they have, my favorite songs. But both of those are really good. And then of course I told you about Adam Jones doing his special effects. There's always cool stuff that you can check out on your favorite artists. All right, let's talk about this tour. They go to Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, Arizona. They go to Cali. They're doing Fresno. They're going to LA. And then they finish the US in Las Vegas. Most of these shows are already sold out. They do have that verified resale. I say that because that's the worst. The verified resale is when someone's already bought the tickets and now they're going to resell them. And it's been verified, so it's legit. So you're gonna buy it, you're actually gonna get a ticket. The only thing is that those prices they're a little higher. Some bands don't let you, some wait till the end. So they don't allow you to resell your tickets because they don't want like a bunch of bots buying tickets and then they up the price. So sometimes they wait till they allow that to go out. But it depends on the artist. Some artists don't do it at all. Tool tickets are affordable if you grab them early. And, you know, there's always spots, like obviously the floor is going to cost you more money than sitting up high. The Hard Rock is awesome because you can sit in that third section. They don't have a fourth level, right? So they got one mezzanine balcony, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, and you can see from anywhere. One of the best venues. Yes, Tool still has the rule of no filming. You know, it was always a thing that the band, Maynard doesn't face the audience and yada, yada, yada. This particular setup, they had Danny Carey in the middle of the stage with the most lights. And then Maynard would be between like these two high rises instead, so he would be on those. But I pretty much like loved it that he put the drummer center, and there was a big focus on that because Tool's music is really wild rhythmically in terms of time signatures and how their music's composed. I feel like the drum is just like the body. So it was really cool to have that. If you've never seen Tool live and you like rock music or whatever, if you don't, you just still go because it's such a good show. But if you are a big rock fan, I suggest not missing Tool. If they come in concert again, you would want to see them. Some of the venues that they're going to, just so you guys have an idea if you're in other cities, right? If you're in Texas, they have the American Airlines Center. So that's where the Dallas Mavericks play, and it holds about 20K people. Those venues, I don't know about some of the ones that I haven't been to in other states, but the audio, you know, it's an arena, so the audio's usually not as great as the theaters. Just because theaters are typically made with better acoustics because they're for more live shows. But you never know. So if anybody knows about certain venues and you're like, this one's got awesome acoustics, even though it's a huge arena, put it in the comments so I can get more info on different spots. Okay, so they go to Oklahoma, the Paycom Center. That's where the Oklahoma City Thunder plays. Another big venue, 18K, basically 20. Colorado, they're gonna play at the Ball Arena. That's where the Denver Nuggets play. That one's another big one, 21K seats. Tool will typically open all the stands. Some bands won't do all the levels. So some bands will have the floor, the 100 section, 300 section. Sometimes they will close off the 400 sections. If you go to a venue and you see that there's curtains on the top, they usually close off those seats. Sometimes some bands do that. Instead of doing smaller venues, they're at the bigger venue, but they're not using all of the seats. So that happens too. Now, when they go to Texas, they're at the Don Hoskins Center. That holds 11K. That's a little smaller. That's probably nice. In Arizona, they go to the Footprint Center. That's where the Phoenix Suns play, and that's another big one with 18K. They go to California State University at the Save Mart Center. That's big, 18K. And then let's see, we've got, the Crypto.com Arena. That one's pretty big, 20K. And then in Ontario, California, they've got the Tokyo Arena, a little smaller, 11K. And then last is the Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena, which is another big one, 20K. So I feel like of all the venues in the US, so Hard Rock Live's one of the smaller ones that they picked, 7K. Makes sense why they did 2 shows. I love that, actually, if bands did the smaller venues in 2 shows. I mean, the big venues are sick when it's wild and loud, and that's a fun vibe too, but having the 2 shows at something a little bit smaller is also really nice. And then, so if bands do 2 shows, are they doing the same sets? Sometimes. In this case, Tool basically followed the same set for the one that I went to, but instead of playing Zombie, they played the pop. So that's cool, because you could, if you're huge fans, and people go to double shows, and then you kind of get a different experience. I also read that their visuals are never the same. They kind of flow, and it's a little bit of an improv, so you're never going to get the exact same experience at every concert. If somebody went to both of them, can you write it and let me know what you thought of each one and what was different, or if you found anything cool about one versus the other. Just let me know in those comments if anybody went to both shows. All right, let's see. I would want to talk about set lists, right? Set lists are important. Like, what are they playing? Let me see. Let's go to. People always ask me, how do you know what they're playing? I just Google set lists. You can find it. They're pretty accurate, right? You can go to that setlist.fm is a website, and they post set lists. I do have friends that don't want to do that. They like to be surprised. So if you want to be surprised, don't go. But having the set list helps, and they also sometimes put what time the show actually starts. We'll get into that in terms of like what time it says on your ticket and what time the show really starts. Because it's never the time on the ticket. Never. All right, so when I saw them, they actually had an intermission. I must say I'm 100% sure I've never been to a concert that's had an intermission. Minus a different act changing. But the same act, pause, and then more songs. Kind of loved it. Gives you bathroom break. It lets you go get something to drink. Go outside for a second. It was kind of nice. Because sometimes you're like, oh no, I don't want to miss this song. That's another reason I check Setlist, because sometimes you're like, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom at some point or drink, so you might want to know what song you want to go do that, so you're not missing your favorite song, because that's the worst. I remember that happening, like, no, and then you're running back to your seat. So checking Setlist would help for that, in case you're like, I'm gonna need a break, so you might want to know what song you can take your break for. They did Fear Inoculum, Zombie, Rosetta Stone, Numa, Sweat, Descending, The Grudge, Chocolate Chip, Trip, Calling Voices, Invincible, Stinkfist. So they kind of followed similar order, minus just switching out Zombie in the pot. I like both of those songs, so I was kind of cool with either one. I love Rosetta Stone. It's another really good song. Those are all from 10,000 Days. The album's fire. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have to cover? We talked about Tool, their members. We talked about their albums. Genre. I mean, I told you they won Grammy for Best Metal, so I guess you could put them under metal, hard rock. It's different. Maynard's voice is insane. It's beautiful. So it's different than what some of you, if you're not rock fans, because you think rock is yelling or, I don't know, loud, listen to Tool. And also just check out Perfect Circle, because you never know. You might just find something in there that you'll like. I would suggest listening to new music. I love all music. I think it's important to check out new bands, find stuff you like. Music makes me happy, so it's fun to just see what else is out there. There's so much music, it's insane. Let's just talk about the Hard Rock Live, the venue. Like, what time do you go? Where do you park? Do you eat before? Let's do a little bit. Let's do a little bit of that. All right, let's pull up. Let me find the address for the Hard Rock. The address, 1 708 Davie, Florida. So the Hard Rock's in Davie. Like I said, it's like about half an hour. If your concert is on a weekday, ugh, yeah, people Miami, you know, traffic. It's bad. I'd say most of the time the Hard Rock starts their concerts at 8. Let me see, I'm kind of looking. For the most part, they start at 8. Maybe some spots will do 7 or 7:30. Or if it's a comedy show, it's possible that they would have 2 shows, 7:30, 10:30. That being said, if the show starts at 8, for sure, the main band is not going on at 8. They'll probably go on at 9. So you have that extra time. Now don't just show up at 9, because you're gonna be late. So my suggestion, let's say you live in Miami, like middle of Miami. You would want to leave 6:45, 7. You probably get there by 7:30. You're gonna park, you're gonna walk, you're gonna get to the entrance of the Hard Rock Live at 8, which gives you time. If the band really starts at 9, it's gonna give you an hour to walk in there, get a drink, merch, whatever it is that you want to do before the actual concert starts. If you're trying to do dinners, maybe hit up the casino, get some drinks. You know, you could leave earlier, just so that you give yourself enough time to check out all the cool spots. The Hard Rock has some fun stuff. There's so many restaurants. There's so much different kinds of foods. You can have American food, steaks, sushi places, ice cream, I don't know, everything. You name it, they got it. Lots of shops. Sometimes there's a line to get into the event, depending on if the doors are open or not. But if you get there a little bit later, the first crowd's already gone in, so you can go pretty chill. Not like a big line or anything. I've never had to wait to get into that venue. What other facts do you need to know? Parking. I wrote these things down for you guys. There's 3 parking spots for the casino. Seminole Way, Garage, Winter's Way, and you've got Lucky Street. According to the website, Seminole Way doesn't say anything about how long it takes to get to the venue. The Winter's Way Garage says it's 6 minutes walking, and it says that the Lucky Street is 11 minutes. I've typically parked at the Lucky Street garage, except for this last time we parked the outside area because that one was already full. There are multiples, the parking's organized well. There's a lot of people there directing, so you know exactly where to go. Feels a little bit like Disney World, where they're like, go here, go there. I find that part is nice. Also, it's free, which is a big deal. Unless you valet, you can valet. Valet is anywhere from 20 to 40. I believe $40 when it's an event, and then 20 regular or 25 overnight. Check, always check before you go just in case anything changes. The free parking is nice because sometimes you go to some events and it's like, okay, now we bought a ticket. Oh no, we have to pay $20 to park. So free parking, we like that. Thanks, Hard Rock. They've got so much stuff to do. I'm just gonna list it for you guys, just so you know, like, oh, what is the Hard Rock? What else do they have? They've got the shopping, they got their own store, the spa. I haven't tried the spa yet, but I'm a big spa person, and I've heard that it's fantastic. So you could realistically go to spa day, get yourself a hotel for the night, have dinner, then you don't have to drive after. You just stay there after the concert, hit up the casino. They've got all kinds of stuff. You got blackjack, you've got poker tables, you've got, of course, your slot machines. They added the roulette. They added a few games now, so it's pretty nice. There's a lot of there's fine dining restaurants. There's some contemporary, like a lot of sports bars, obviously. Entertainment, they've got their clubs. They've got the day club. They got, there's a light show that the guitar puts on at night, which is pretty cool. So you can check that out when you're there. It's just a lot. It's kind of fun to go to venues that have more things to do, because then you're not just going to that and then you leave to go find somewhere else if you're hanging out after. Here, it's kind of all in one, which is awesome. You get there early and hang out. I love it. So let's talk about upcoming events. What else do they got going on? They're hosting bare knuckle fighting. They got pickleball, and they're doing it in the Hard Rock Live. Kind of curious if anybody went to the last pickleball. Let me know how that was in that event, in that event space. This is for a concert, but that's kind of cool because it's inside. Usually you go to tennis or any of those sporting events like that, it's usually outside for tennis, and now pickleball's a new thing. So let me know if anybody went to that. I saw Tim McGraw's coming, Frankie Valli, Rod Stewart, Stevie Nicks, the Eagles with Steely Dan. It's kind of nice. ZZ Top. And there's some comedians coming. Andrew Schultz, love him. Tom Segura, phenomenal. I saw Tom Segura last time he came. Super good. Maybe I'll talk about some comedy shows too. Comedy shows are great. That's a nice spot for that. So it's kind of nice. Let's see. What else do we have to cover in our episode 1 podcast? But I just want to make sure that we kind of covered all the stuff you guys want to know. Just band, the tour, really awesome tour. Thank you, Tool. It was amazing. Really amazing. Just all of it. I have nothing to say. This podcast is going to be real positive, guys. So we're not here to talk bad about anything. We're here to be positive and just kind of promote music, live music. Live music's awesome. If you're into EDM, I love EDM too, right? Love hip hop, love EDM. But if you've never seen a rock band, go see one. There's nothing like hearing live instruments on stage. Nothing like it. You have to. So if you like other genres, you have to just at least try one time. Just one time. Let's say you don't want to pay for it. You can win tickets. There's all kinds of ways to win tickets. Not the easiest, but there's ways to win tickets. Instagram, radio stations, different websites that give away stuff. Like, there's kind of options. So if you're looking, you're like, I don't want to pay for it. Well, maybe you can win some tickets. I'll do different episodes about stuff like that. Like, what's the best way to get your concert tickets? What's the best site? How early do you buy them? I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Because people are like, how did you know about this concert? I didn't know. There's ways. So we'll definitely dive into that, on other episodes, for sure. Merch. I knew it. There's one more merch. Merch at the Hard Rock is going to be on the bottom floor. So on the bottom floor. They don't sell merch anywhere else. And at the Tool concert, they had 2 stations of merch. They were giving away autograph posters. So if you're into that, that's when I would suggest to go early, because those things will sell out. Merch lines can be long. That's where you might find that you're gonna have to wait a little bit for the merch. Tool's website's got a whole bunch of cool stuff on it. If you go, it's gonna be toolband.com, and you can check out their tour, their news feed. They got the community, the tour info, and then they got their store. And then you can shop their store. It's cool because you can shop based on albums. So if there's a certain album you like, you can even go and get the old Tool logo on your shirt. Like it's nice. They got some cool stuff. 1,000 Days, Lauderdale, Fear Inoculum. So you can pick the album you want. I would check out their store. They have some really nice stuff there. How do you hear about concerts? Your favorite bands, you're gonna want to subscribe to their website. That's where you're gonna get first notification. That's also how you get those special codes. Like, what's the pre-sale code? How'd they get the pre-sale code? You're gonna want to sign up. So for example, Tool, you go to toolbands.com. You would go to where it says to subscribe. So they're gonna have an email subscription. Every single website has this. Everyone, you're shopping, like, oh, subscribe for notifications, yada yada. That's what you're gonna want to do for your favorite bands. I'd say that's probably number one because they reach out to their artists, and then some of these artists have their VIP or their fan club where sometimes they have a fee, sometimes they don't, but you get exclusive access. So Tool has one, and they call it's Tool Army, and they've got a membership, so you can sign up to that. So basically, it's just getting exclusive stuff. You get pre-sale. I like that. Secures it. If you're looking like you don't want to wait or be on that, I'm on my phone, the tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Friday at Ticketmaster, and that whole thing, if you don't want to do that, this is what you want to do. You want to sign up for their exclusive offers. And like I said, you can do it without having to do the paid one. The paid one just gives you more stuff. Access to Tool Army members only website and mobile app, access to behind the scenes content, access to members only forums where you can interact with other members of Tool. You're also supporting the artist in another way. The other way to get notified, Ticketmaster. Add them to your favorites. On your Ticketmaster site, and there's a spot that you can create your favorites. You just pick artists, the little pictures, you pick boom, boom, boom. And so you'll get notified, hey, your artist is coming in town. Sometimes they'll give you pre-sale codes for that. Pre-sales is good. It makes you feel like, okay, I got the ticket already. I don't have to wait. Usually, it doesn't mean you're not going to get it if you don't get pre-sale. Originally, pre-sale should be there's some tickets for pre-sale, and then there's the general public. But I have seen cases where it sells out in pre-sale, and people are mad. When you pick tickets, you have two options. There's the listed tickets, so you can do it based on price. There's the other option, which is clicking on the map. The map shows you the venue, and it has the little blue dots for each seat. So you can pick your actual seat. That's another option. I typically do that way because I'm trying to get the aisle. If you can do it with the map, you can actually see, and you can see prices because sometimes some sections, like let's just, for example, say you're gonna shop in the 100 section. It's usually the first one off the floor. So you got your floor, and then the 100 is the first one that's coming up, and then usually it's kind of stacks, your mezzanine, your balcony. The 100 section, however, not necessarily that all those tickets are gonna be the same price. So you might find that the lower section, let's just pretend, $100, and then you're gonna see, like, say after, I don't know, row 15, it goes down 75. So sometimes it's the second time I hit that. We might move that. So you're like, okay, I only want to spend $75 on a ticket. Fine. What's the lowest row that you can find that ticket for 75 before it jumps down? So I'll do that too. And so you can easily see that when you click on the map view, and you can see the little circles. I'll usually go down to where I'm like, okay, perfect. It changes prices here. And also, where can I get that aisle seat? Some people want to be right in the middle, or maybe you got a big group, you're trying to get that row. It depends on what you're looking for. That's a cool way to kind of see, okay, what can I pay? And how can I make it more affordable if you're looking for that option, or just to pick your specific spot where you want to sit. Like, you like this side, you like that side, you want to be in the middle. Once you kind of learn venues, you kind of know, oh, I like to sit on this part because it's close to this exit, or I like to sit here because it's close to the concession, and whatever you like as the attendee for the performance. wanted to go into Tool and how awesome their show was and the Hard Rock Live. So each time I go to a concert, I'm gonna do one of these podcasts. The idea though is to do every week. So I'm not going to a concert every week. I wish. I wish. But each week, if there's no show that I'm going to, that episode will be about something else. We'll talk about new music maybe. I definitely gonna do one about festivals. You guys that like festivals. I'm gonna give you lots of tips, guys. I've been to so many events and tell you how to do it right so that you don't end up on a mission with your friends. You don't get lost. You need water. I don't know, your socks got dirty, whatever. I'm gonna give you all the tips that you need to make it the best event possible. Oh, I almost forgot. I just have these old tickets, which I think are cool because you don't really get these so much anymore for concerts now. Ticketmaster, they don't print tickets. They just, you have it on your phone. Now, Ticketmaster, can we make it where it saves those little pictures of your past events because they kind of disappear? It would be nice to have that little memory or some way. Like I have tickets from shows. I have my first Tool concert ticket up here, June 1st, 2007. Let's see how much we paid for it. Wow. $52.75 with a convenience fee of $10. No way. Section 104. So thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you guys next week. Music makes me dance. Love you guys.